This feels damn cool though.
What?
I feel like I'm on some reality show or something. I'd written like what? I think 3 of these songs in 2017 actually. Fish in the Sink was still going on. We were writing our own songs. So these songs I wrote, showed it to the boys. They really liked it. So I said, come, we can use it for Fish in the Sink if you guys really like it. So we made like, some of them we made like a few new arrangements for Fish in the Sink. Then I went to Goa because I wanted to like just have a different experience. That time we kind of disbanded. So these songs were just there. So when I moved back from Goa, I felt like, I don't know, I kind of gave up on music, to be honest. I was just like, I gave it everything for 4 or 5 years. That's all I did know. I used to just sit and practice. Then I was like, you know what, let me just take these songs, since I've anyway written them, put them out on SoundCloud as just like a kind of, I tried, and this will always be there to show. So then I spoke to the boys, since we weren't a band anymore. I said, is it okay if I release these as a part of a concept album? And they were like, yeah man, do whatever. These are your songs, you do what you want to do. So then I came back I moved back in Feb of 2019?
Am I right?
And then I wrote the whole album. Like it took me like maybe 2-3 months. Just lock myself in my room, take after take after take to get like everything as perfect as possible, and then
You look around and all that you see, familiar faces in their own dreams.
The first 3, one of them Riju had written the lyrics for, and he just told me, this was before I had written a song on my own and all. So he just gave me the lyrics and said, I want a song by tomorrow. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I've never really written a song before. Then I said, okay, I didn't have a job, anything at the time, so I had a lot of time. Put something together, played some guitar parts, some programmed drums, bass and everything. And I showed it to him the next day, and he was like, what the fuck, this is amazing, how did you come up with this? So that kind of gave me the confidence to try and write more songs of my own. And in that span of like 2 weeks, I ended up just writing 3 of these songs. Coming back to when I decided that it's going to be an album, that was primarily after an acid trip. My first acid trip where I did it alone. And I listened to The Dark Side of the Moon. Like, as cliched as that sounds, it blew my mind. Like how well stitched together that album is. There are so many, like Breathe. There's a callback to Breathe in the End of Time, which I've heard so many times, but honestly it was just like, holy shit, this is crazy. And that's when I got the idea of, okay, since I'd written these 3 songs at a point in time where I was kind of thinking about a certain subject, it was just about filling in the blanks. Like, okay, this talks about this particular feeling, this talks about this feeling, but what made me feel this way in the first place? So then the intro track came in, and then like, okay, what did this feeling lead me to? And then it just kind of fell in place quite easily, actually. It wasn't like something that was very conscious or was like, okay, I have to make something that sounds like this. Just went to the flow and it kind of fell in place. When I'm writing guitar parts, I always think of how Suji would write them in my head. And that's what gave me a certain kind of sound. And same with vocal melodies, it was always so used to writing melodies with Riju's voice in my head, so that also kind of took that shape and form of how it would sound if Riju sang it, and then I recorded my own voice. As much as, Avial, Porcupine Tree, all of these bands are like such a huge influence, these two are guys that influence who I am as a musician the most. Like Suji, when I first met Suji, I didn't know anything. Like I never even imagined that I'd be in a band or be writing my own music, right? So spending all that time with Suji, when we're jamming, he would be like, Macha, let's take it from the 7/8 part. I didn't even know what 7/8 was, what time signature was, nothing. So I would wait for all these guys to start playing. So then I'll be like, okay, this is that part that he's talking about, and I'll start playing. Same when Riju joined the band also, he came up to me after one of our first few jams together, and he said, man, you're one of the best bassists I ever played with. And at that point, it was super validating because this guy is a monstrous vocalist even back then. So you kind of like, you're in awe, and then that guy comes and says, what the hell, Macha, you sound good. Then you also start thinking, right? He said, why don't you just reach out to somebody else?
Right.
And that kind of set off on chain of events, because then two singers that I really, really liked in the Chennai scene was David Simon, who used to play for this band called Blind Image. He used to sing insane, like school VG, my senior from school, he used to sneak me into these concerts because he used to play the guitar on that band. And I was not 18 at the time, so he used to like get me in because he's a part of the band, and I used to just stand there and be like, holy shit, somebody I know is on stage, and So yeah. Then the other band called Kodari in Chennai, which I loved. That singer's name is Ram. So I reached out to these guys. I didn't think they'd respond honestly, but they did, and then I met them, they came home, recorded some demos. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute. These guys responded. Why don't I just reach out to all the musicians that I've been following on Instagram that I think are like insane, like world-class musicians. And yeah, first person I reached out to that I thought would not respond or would be like the perfect sound, like bring the perfect sound for this album. The sound I had in mind was Suyash. Fucking shout out to my boy. But he responded. He actually responded and he said, sure man, I'd love to check it out. So I had like these random demos with like GarageBand drummer and mic voice. And I was like, okay man, what is he going to think about it? I just said, fuck it, stitched it together and sent it to him on email. He actually loved it. And then I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like, okay, then I had to, obviously session artists, you have to pay them. And then I was like, oh fuck, I need a job. Otherwise I can't afford to, even do this album in a way that I think I can do it. So, in a nutshell, yeah, like after Suyash said yes, and I sent him the demos, gave me like so much confidence, and I started reaching out to all the people that I thought would be perfect for the sound I had in mind, and yeah. Yeah, crazy da.